Hello and welcome to Lands Unknown. My name is Will, and today I am joined by Jake and Miles from Let's Have a Booba. Hello, Jake and Miles.
Hello, Miles and Will, and everyone watching.
And today we are continuing to map the Boubaverse, make it a little less unknown. And today is the Isotherm episode, so we're going to be making a lot of lines in Photoshop, and then eventually exporting that. Hello, Kate.
Okay.
Oh, and good thing Kay's here. Big news. The most recent episode of the Spec Atlas dropped for Explorer tier members on the Patreon. Everyone else is going to get it on August 6th, but Kate can tell people how fun it is already. But yeah, otherwise, how was the one big thing is that Jake and Miles, you have your Conlang relay live come out, and I think Karis was in that.
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
Is Maddie participating as well? I'm not sure if Madeline was in the stream.
She was in the stream, but she did participate in like the relay itself.
Very cool, very cool. And I think that was Asmalau.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and
friends of the pod came on and such.
Excellent. And the Lands heads will know that we helped Madeline with the consonant inventory, like kind of spacing that out for Asmalau way back in the day over on Maddie's channel when Madeline was learning how to do consonants from the IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
It was like so long ago. Oh my goodness.
There are a lot of good critters
there are
in the Northern Lowland Rainforest video. I would agree. I was really happy with the critters.
I tinguish.
So we have, all right, so what I'm doing, I've opened this in Photoshop. You can easily do this in GIMP. I've done this in GIMP. So if you want like a free version, you can also draw all of the isotherms, which is what I was planning on doing, but then my iPad wanted to sleep. Oh my goodness, how much is this? 72 pixels an inch. Oof. All right, so we're going to change that. Can you see me opening up canvas size? No.
Okay. No, you're fine. I was going to say back when I was teaching, I had used my iPad very frequently to kind of like broadcast like lectures and notes and such. And the days that I had forgot to charge it were the worst because it would just like with whatever program I was using, it just like drained battery so much where like midway through like my first block, my iPad would just die.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, okay, guys, time to like practice something. Talk for a little bit.
Hello, Tingush. Yes, I have a new mic set up. Now the mic is in the air and I can move it around depending on what I'm doing, whether I'm talking over here or whether I'm doing my iPad stuff or doing Photoshop over here. So I'm leveling up. What was I trying to look up? Yeah. But how was the how is the Conlang relay going to be, coming out over the next couple days, or should it all be out already?
It is all out already. So folks can go to our channel. It should be like the most recent thing up there, likelier than not. But it was like a who in the holler. We started this thing in January. I was the relay master, and notoriously, I now know that I tend to be very verbose and like to have a lot of sentences for my torches. So
it wasn't just the number of sentences, Miles. Let's be clear. It's also that your sentences are like full of chunky wording, and then you split your compounds up so that the chunky wording was like even chunkier.
Yes, it was a very crunchy and chunky torch.
This was not smooth, creamy peanut butter. This was chunky.
This was extra crunchy.
Extra crunchy, excellent.
And I will say, for the benefit of anyone who doesn't watch this as it goes out, that it will be in our lives
It will be,
on
yes.
the channel, and in our lives in real life.
All of the links for Let's Have a Booba are in the description in their link tree, so you can go check them out wherever you may be.
And it's as good a time as any to announce. Can you hear the cars outside?
No.
No.
Okay, lovely. I'll just try and power through it next time. It's as good a time as any to mention that the normal ring of the YouTube relay that George hosts is out tomorrow, and myself and Miles, our videos will be out a week after that.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
and those will be like proper videos in the proper place for videos.
correct.
Proper videos in the proper place.
Exactly.
Not streams.
Not streams.
Not streams. Although
which
I
are
have
notoriously
to say,
improper videos.
People doubted that I could get us through. I would say, in fairness, it was only really 19 texts in 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Because your Chelu was only different in Chelu and not in English.
Correct.
But I did it. I think I did railroad the conversation a little bit, which I regret. But I think that it probably was more. I think the pace was kept up by not having to repeat everything every single time. Although I think
you did a really good job at it.
I did worry afterwards that like this was supposed to be your relay, and I was just.
I mean, I will say after a given point, like it just started to feel a little more like a burden on my shoulders, and I knew eventually like I needed to ask for help to kind of get this taken care of. So I'm very grateful that like you and Karis were kind of a little more streamlined than I. And of course, like I knew what I was talking about. So it's not like I just like completely like, threw it in my hands and such. So like it just was like with all that had been happening in my life at that point in like this year, it was just like holy hell. There's no way that like I think I could do this like by myself and produce something that's gonna be like what I would want of a quality for people to watch.
Mm-hmm. I think I realized this with the spider text relay was that I couldn't fit people's. You can't. It's really you need a text that stays a length where you can have the whole text in English on one side and the conlang in the other. And if you can't fit that on a single slide, it gets quite messy quite quickly.
Very. So thankfully, Karis and his wonderful coding talents produced a beautiful little website for us to kind of document all of this and such. And it's been very lovely to kind of see that like in its full form too. I do not know how to code. I definitely don't. I have edited Wikipedia pages. I had taken a Python course in college, and that's about my coding experience.
Well, hey, that's not bad.
I don't think that at all. Yeah, it's just. I mean, like I'm no Madeline James. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, okay, I see. That's the comparison here.
That is that comparison.
All right, so I have already started to draw the isotherms down. So what I am doing is what we do is we start by drawing the bend in the what was it, in the thermal equator. Okay. So we just want to kind of get that thermal equator bend down, and then I'm going to drop that over the equator here. The next thing that I'm going to do is, last time at the very end of the last video, we went through and figured out where each of our isotherms were going to be for the 6 degree points, and then also for the 21 degrees Celsius line. So we know that, this whole, we know the height of this is 824 pixels, and that 824 pixels is going to be spread across 180 degrees. So I am just going to figure out how far it will be from this to the next degree point that we need to make it. So it is going to be, because this line is going to be 21 degrees, at least the base is going to be 21 degrees, and that's going to be at the 25 degrees north when we are kind of like normal, right? When we're sitting over the equator, it's going to be at 25 degrees north and on, each side. But what we're going to do for the summers, then we're going to shift it north. So we're going to be moving it by 23 degrees, whatever the obliquity of the planet is. So 412 divided by 90. What is going on?
Probably like a little bit lower than 4 point something.
Yeah, 4.6 is going to be. So every 4.6 pixels is going to be a change in degree. So we want 6 degrees, 6 times there. About 27 or 28 degrees. No, 27 or 28 pixels is going to be where our next line is going to be. And so now that we have this, what we are going to do is simply stroke our work path. And I need to check my pencil first, make sure that it is an appropriate number of pixels. And I want it to stroke white, probably. And so our work path is on a new layer. And I'm going to stroke the path, and we're going to see what we come up with. Boom. Wonderful. So then I can duplicate that. And then I will set it to... what was this? This is the 31 isotherm. No, this is the... I think it's 18 isotherm. And then we're going to take that, and I am going to move it. There we go. 28 degrees up. I'm going to move it 28 pixels north is where we are at here. And then the next one is going to be at 42. So that is going to be 11 degrees. And that's going to be about 50. So again, I'm just going to be duplicating these layers and then, Nope. Undo.
And these are like by definition not going to be evenly spaced, correct?
No, they're not going to be evenly spaced.
Lovely. Okay.
So then the 6 degree one is going to be at 51 degrees, and that is a 9 degree difference. That's a 9 degree difference. So That times 9 is 41. So we're just going to duplicate this again. That's pretty close. Boom. And yeah, and then when you use the up and down arrows, it'll only move it by like a degree. So that is quite useful. It's not a degree, sorry, a pixel. I'm going to be shifting back and forth between these different things. So yeah, so now it's going to be an 8-degree difference. And that'll be 37. And it is very important to label these as you go from experience.
Imagine.
Okay, so what did I say it was? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Great. And you can always, I believe, we have a ruler tool. So you can always more or less check. How far is that? If we check from the middle. Yeah, great. So that may be a little too tight. So let's go back to that. Cool. So now we are going to duplicate this again. This is going to be our -6 isotherm. All the degrees we're working in is Celsius. And we are switching, of course, between the degrees Celsius and then the degrees of latitude.
Yes.
I am keeping those straight for myself. May not translate, so that's going to be about 46. So the -6 degree isotherm is going to be about 46. Yeah, that's good. And then the -12 is going to be at 77 degrees. And that is going to be an 8-degree difference again. So that's going to be about 37.
I'm very excited to see how these continental regions kind of like.
Hello. Oh, it's going to be a fun time.
I know.
And then what else has been going on? Oh, yeah. And then I was talking to Jake about the naming languages that I'm working on for the faceless, the people who descend from the culture of the ancient ancestral Zalaeans. And I definitely want a lot of fricative, particularly, I guess, Sibilant, but also, I don't think the sort of post-alveolar fricative is a Sibilant, is it?
I would argue. I mean,
yeah, that's
a Sibilant. We could say that. All right. So yes, I want Sibilants to be syllabic consonants, and you know, I do think it would be quite fun. And we were talking about ways of like getting rid of vowels from a bunch of places, and I haven't really figured out how I would like to
out of like from the top of my head to kind of like combine like that post-alveolar fricative, if there's like an E or some sort of like close front vowel like following it, that can probably easily be dropped out in that position, especially if it's unstressed. That could be kind of one way to get at least like firstly shut in there, and then potentially kind of whatever is surrounding it could maybe mutate sort of like what quality if it becomes more like a more further back in the mouth and such.
Yeah, I'm going for. Oh, sorry.
I will say, I think the question of is the esh sibilant is maybe more complicated than we're giving it time for. Not that that's necessarily the purpose of the stream. I think sibilant can be defined on a language by language level because, for example, in Ewe, the labiodental F is considered. I don't think it's considered sibilant. I think it's considered strident, but strident is often an overlapping feature, if I'm remembering right. Compared to a bilabial, which is the non-strident equivalent. The kind of the analog to F versus S. So like I think the Japanese sibilants, or if we're going to call them that, the Japanese like coronal fricatives are not as sibilant as the English ones are, for example, which is partly, I mean, I guess it would be an interesting way to evolve a Turkmen-like sound would be that you have your alveolar, alveolar S front entirely to F, which is like the Japanese sibilants, because it has a retracted esh from palatalization. The S can kind of sit further forward in the mouth and be less sibilant than the equivalent sound in English, because we have the full dental alveolar and post-alveolar set. But I can't think of, I guess you could argue that your sh sound is the closest thing you'd get to a non-sibilant palatal fricative, right?
Yeah. Like
although it's more of a true palatal rather than post-alveolar. But
that reminded me of Icelandic, where the dental fricatives, the thorn and the ev, they're not truly like dental. They're more like non-sibilant alveolar fricatives in like the narrow sense of the word. So like I forgot what I was going to, but I think kind of just like depending on your analysis of kind of like how you want it to be like precise enough, you can kind of like do as much hand wavy like sibilant removal or protection, if you will, kind of in there.
Yes, I mean, I was thinking of a few things. I was thinking of having, I guess, I was thinking of having diphthongs, and then the initial for the diphthong, you know, if it was a e or u, you know, having effects on the consonant beside it, like helping to what's it? It's not. Not. Is it spiralize? No, it's not. Steronize. Yes. I think the word reminds me of spiral.
Yes.
So that is how it's got stuck in my head. So yes, so that would have an impact, and then it would kind of drop away. And then I was also thinking of, depending on the language, there could be, you know, like having different stress patterns that essentially reduce and remove certain vowels. So like you could, Jake was mentioning having a 5-vowel system, the E and the U drop, like just, you know, cause fricatives to appear all over the place. And then you have A or A. The other thing I was thinking of as well is that, you know, you start losing a lot of the distinction between these vowels. Maybe the rounded vowels create rounding around them. So you could essentially just have one vowel, you just have A, but then in some places it's all, some places it's eh. And you know,
Oh yeah.
It's just kind of shaped by the sounds around it. And I was thinking for one group, the kind of, I guess, phone aesthetic that I was liking was, the one word. So no, this is two words for the group name. The first would be asr, and the next one would be ult. So, or asr ult. And what I was thinking would be interesting is having voiced sounds, including vowels here, at the front of the word. And then everything that follows it is devoiced. So we could have things where, there could be a glottal fricative at the beginning of the word. It's like if there was an unvoiced glottal fricative at the beginning of the word, sound, if it's voiced, they could just make it an sound.
Yep.
So there could be a period where they're just like slashing and removing vowels. And then later they're like, okay, we're going to add some more vowels in, but not from the places you think we're going to be added them from. Also, what does this have to do with isotherms? Well, it's just conversation to kind of like have over me making lines. So I am now going to be drawing.
This is why I love conlanging in terms of just like a creative venture, because like depending on what your goals are, you can like half do anything as long as you like kind of like maintain it. And it's just kind of fun to see what sort of like linguistic quirks people come up with and kind of see how they map on and stuff.
Yes, I agree. And I have also been, what do we want here? So 41.2 minus, wait a minute. What is this here? What is this here? No, that is not correct. Aha.
I don't know if it is still going to be going on today due to the weather, but they said it's going to keep going on if it's going to happen during the rain. But today is the Highland Games here.
Oh, nice.
And it's kind of like it's actually really it's like a bikeable distance for us if we wanted to go. But like I guess there's like all like there's like the Kaylee music. I forget what the big old tree trunk thing is called, but there's that
caber toss.
Caber tossing, and it just is going to be. I'm excited for it to happen. I think I don't want to just venture out into the severe thunderstorm to go see it, but it does look like it's like a general cool cultural thing.
Yeah, and they may cancel the caber toss if it's too rainy. Yeah. All right, there we go. So this is where we start for the Northern Hemisphere, right? So last time we did our... can I make a text box? That way you can see it. I don't have to switch back and forth between this nonsense. Where'd my text box go? That's not good. Oh, there it is. Whoa.
Oh, good. Oh, wow. That's
giant lorem ipsum. Let's have something a bit more reasonable here. All right. And it will be, I don't know why it's black. That's not very helpful. Great.
On how phonology actually works, the lines is reminding me of like
audiograms
when you look at spectrograms.
Yes, yeah, I see that.
And I think I personally blame the fact that the spectrograms are usually for American English, and so I can never work out what the IPA is supposed to be for the words that they're representing anyway. I just look at it and I'm like, what is
yeah. And hell, I mean, it to me sometimes just looks like a series, like I mean, it is a waveform in the purest sense. So it's just kind of like, oh my god, like how this can actually be used to like encode meaning is wild.
Yeah, spectrograms are the weird stuff. Where are we? Colby told you how phenology actually works.
Mm-hmm.
You just put different frequencies in different orders beside each other.
Life is just physics. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's all life is.
I don't think this is a huge relay spoiler, but I will say that this comes into play in our ring.
What? I
You
don't know
just haven't been
how.
following the chat well enough.
Maybe not. I'm sure.
21 isotherm.
If you had been, you would know exactly what I was referring to.
Okay. So I need a 21 degree isotherm in the north, and I also need a 21 degree isotherm in the south.
Honestly, the people who try and make linguistics sciencey are spoiling it for the humanities people who try and get in.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, and I think there's also a decent amount of texture that is lost from some of those analyses.
Oh, for sure.
Through abstraction and things. And like, yeah, it's like, people can say it's like, oh, it's all down to physics, but it's like, well, as you start layering a lot of these different processes and you start moving out in scale from the like the frequency into other things, then like, yeah, it gets more amusing, I will say. Or I feel it's more amusing.
Oh yeah.
All right, so then that one will be at about 508 pixels. Yeah, about there. I can zoom in and check. We can make our ruler more there. It's almost there. Great. Okay. So now I think I need one more isotherm. I think I'm going to need to duplicate. I think I'm going to need the 18 degrees south isotherm. Okay. And the 18 degrees south isotherm is going to be about 6 pixels. It is 6 degrees latitude south. So I'm just going to figure out how many pixels that is. That is going to be about 27 pixels. So then we can just grab it, and you can see when it says, oh, you can't. Okay, so I have a thing pop up that tells me how many pixels it is. So
like a little measuring tool.
Yeah, I have a little measuring tool, which makes this a lot easier for me to do than it would appear. It is not just me randomly shifting things around, although it may seem that way. And then I also have a ruler tool, which you should be able to see me using now. And then it can tell me the height is, I think that's a little short. So I'm going to be going back to my move tool and just moving it down 2 pixels. All right, so this should more or less be what we need, because we are just dealing with A, one hemisphere,
Correct.
And B, well, we're dealing with a quadrant, right? We're dealing with the northern hemisphere, but then we're also dealing with, and we're just deciding arbitrarily that this is the northern hemisphere. We are dealing with a northern hemisphere, but then we're also just dealing with a segment of the northern hemisphere. So, we could say this is the eastern or western hemisphere or what have you. It really doesn't matter. Hello, Nemo.
Hi, Nemo.
Bam.
Nemo was in our relay.
Indeed.
As was Mateus.
Yes.
Anything to do
with that. Nemo is on the stream.
So now that we have our summer isotherms, this is our base layer, more or less. Once we have done that, I'm just bringing up manual temperature thing. All right. Draw the isotherms every 6 degrees, taking effect continentality. Where are we? Okay.
taste. I'm
Established
sending
isochemistry
you
hemisphere. The thermal equator, roughly matched as you said. Over continents with thermal equator can shift the tropic, which for us is going to be 23 degrees, to 30 degrees when coinciding with arid hotspots from step 2 over the summer hemisphere. Over open oceans, the thermal equator will ascend to the center of the tropical hotspots or 10 degrees latitude and then gradually rise towards the coasts. Avoid plotting the thermal equator over oceans greater than 4,000 degrees outside the tropics. So we draw our temperature of the tropics from step 3.A will bend with the thermal equator. All right. So I do think we need to yeah, so we got it here. I just wanted to check something quickly so that I'm not messing about. Because I do think...
We would never mess about on stream, would we, Miles?
No, never run amok.
Never. We would never.
Never done it. Oh. I just been thinking about like the whole like Big Brother Jason Selena as titties debacle, not debacle, but just like the drama of it, and just like the memery of her just like sitting in the bathroom being like, I need gay people. And it's like, oh, I've been feeling that on like a visceral level. And just like, I mean, even like with like the context of like that like scene, I think it's just like it's gone to great heights about like, I don't know, I just enjoy it kind of just like as a meme and a statement on society. But it's like, we need gay people. I need my gay people. And it's always like reminds me of when Kathy Griffin had her little memery moment.
I feel like I only understand where this came from thematically and not intellectually.
Probably. Yeah, I'm sure I have no point in that. I don't know who's Big Brother yet, Arne. I know that Julie Chen is trying to be. I don't know if she's doing a great job at Big Brother, but I feel like nowadays we're all in Big Brother's world.
All right, so this is what we are more or less going to be starting with. We have all of our happy little isotherms, and then we have our summer hemisphere thing back here, which does not have our hot and cold spots on it. So I will export that from G plates, because that's what we did last time. Boom. And we can keep looking at this. So the reason why I continued doing the so we do the highest one that we have right now, I believe, is the negative 18 degree isotherm. Yeah. The negative 24 one, I know where it is just in case we need to like pull it down or something. Wait, who's on Big Brother? Yeah, I didn't follow any of that either. That's
perfect.
Fine.
I mean, I was gonna like literally say that like sometimes I just want to talk, and sometimes it's not for you.
Yeah, no, that's okay. We're hitting all sorts of people.
Yes.
Gay pop culture slop. All right.
Indeed.
So it's the accurate description.
It's actually a very accurate description.
So we are going to have a equirectangular projection here in G plates. I'm not switching it. And then we are going to be exporting it.
Yes, the TV show. Yes, to hopefully clarify, there's a former RuPaul's Drag Race contestant was on, sorry, spoilers, Big Brother US. And he was kind of under a lot of like homophobic pressure from the other house guests. And yes, I'm sorry, Arne, that person's drag name is Selena S. Titties. otherwise known as Jason on Big Brother this time around.
I think the term tulipomania is the Netherlands' greatest contribution to word culture. Although maybe that's stereotypical.
I think the stroopwafel is also a big contribution.
If I'm remembering correctly, Matthijs isn't the biggest fan of the stroopwafel.
I think I also remember that. Oh no!
Oh no!
Supernatural ecology. Your sitting is flooding right now. I hope you're taking evasive action. Or I hope it's your SimCity. Either way.
Your city's flooding. Oh no. Well, I hope you stay safe.
Yes, please stay safe.
I hope you are able to evacuate or stay in place, depending on what is recommended.
Yes.
Oh, now I have to go back to making isotherms. You love on a hill? I love hills too. I know you may live on a hill, so you're fine,
Yes.
but I couldn't resist.
I live on a floodplain, and I don't recommend.
Well, I live slightly elevated above the tidal wave zone, so I will be fine when the eventual tidal wave comes.
I'm very grateful that, for whatever reason, how our house was built, we've had the houses either side of ours flood before,
Yeah.
but our one's been okay, even though we live on the bottom of a hill. And I think it's just that, for whatever reason, our foundation itself is slightly higher than the other house.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh, I just need to fill some polygons. Ugh. For some reason, it did not remember my draw styles, so I need to export some colors.
I definitely know there are neighborhoods around here that do flood rather prominently. When it does get kind of bad, we're not one of those neighborhoods, thankfully, but it's very possible. I was just having the thought the other day that like living is such just like a very interesting experience.
Living is an interesting experience.
Yeah, just kind of just like I don't know why I was feeling very meta. I mean, I have an idea why.
I mean, it's the only experience.
It just kind of like is. It's kind of just like you one goes around the world and people just like live like as they do, and it's just kind of like, you know, the human experience is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm still in the dukkha stage. Existence is suffering.
That's also true. I think that's fair.
And two things can be true at the same time.
All right, I'm gonna get rid of some of this stuff. What is that though? Okay. All right, those hotspots need to exist. Sorry, I just need to finish.
Oh, you are totally fine.
Setting up these draw styles. I said I would do everything on stream, and I'm sticking to that promise.
I know this is an absolutely terrible thing to say, but I think I would be so much more popular if I was like a few hundred years ago, didn't think non-binary was an option, and I could just talk to people about the wonders of the Orient.
Oh my goodness.
Like, the humanities used to be so much bigger than like,
oh my gosh. If I could just be a stowaway on a boat named after a dog breed, I would just have been loving it.
The beagle, specifically.
No, it could be like the pug. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Or like the dachshund.
The dachshund.
Which I mean, like, honestly, I learned this, but I didn't like realize it until like I'm like looking at a dachshund. I'm like, those dogs are like bred for being good burrowers, and they are fantastic.
All right, so now I have the file I need. Just make sure when you export things from Gplates, make sure all your layers are on, or else you'll have to do it again. And then you also have to remember where you put all the files for your collabs. All right, so
That
now
was
that
me yesterday on stream. Where are my files?
all right, so now there we go. And I don't know
Ooh.
why that the thing is larger than the.
Yay, Nemo! The
Have
first
you got
goal is that
storms?
it's done. So that's like one battle at least like finished. So revision is the easy part, kind of in a way. But I'm glad you finished it.
But I would say revision,
Hey, that's good.
it's
Well,
easier.
I mean, correct is kind of arbitrary, right? Like, correct to what?
Mm-hmm. That's what you were saying, kind of like either a couple weeks ago or last week, Will. Is that like it's normal compared to what?
Well, I mean, we have, you know, we only really have data for one climate regime, which is the one that we are currently living through. And, you know, even Earth itself has had multiple different climate regimes with, you know, different orientations of continents and things like that, and we're not necessarily sure how that was, you know, how that looked. I mean, we can say some things about it, but we often have to rely on proxies, and proxies aren't always the best measurements.
No. And then, hello, Danielle. Welcome. Relay participant, Danielle.
Danielle is always such a charming member of the community. Honestly.
Sincerely so.
I never tire of Danielle's presence.
Excellent. Great. So now we have all of the hot and cold spots in. We now know what, in fact, we are going to be doing. I can close the numbers file for now, because at some point we're going to be doing the Southern Hemisphere. So yeah, now we have all of these isotherms set up, and they are importantly on different layers. And this is so that we can manipulate them separately. Sometimes I also have a different path for every single layer as well. I'm probably going to be multiplying my paths and, you know, moving them to the places that they need to be as we are going to be working through. But what we're doing, so we now have taken the thermal equator, which, you know, rose about, 5 degrees or so over the ocean, and rose much more significantly, you know, around 20 odd degrees. I did raise it a bit more before exporting it.
Oh, I see.
And then we use that as the base for, we're going to be using that as our base to manipulate based on the different hotspots that we have. And we do that sort of in order that we have. I mean, so on the manual sort of temperature mapping documents, on the one that I have that I made before Edgar made it public, I had numbers on mine, and I like numbers. Well, this one has numbers too, but I think mine has more numbers on it. Just for the steps that you follow. So we do the baseline isotherms, thermal equator roughly match the ITCZ. Over continents, it can shift up to 30 degrees. Over oceans, it'll go up to kind of 10 degrees. Then we have our baseline isotherms. Shift it poleward, distance between your first and second isotherm. Right. So now that we're doing this, we're finalizing the isotherms. We are going to start with our tropical sea and ocean hotspots. The ocean is, you know, probably less of a problem to do. It's going to be a bit a bit simpler when we're going to be executing those. We are going to increase the temperature of our tropical ocean and sea hotspots by 3 degrees. This will probably create some new for some people this would create a new isotherm,
Okay.
but I already created a, what was it, that here we go, the 21 degree isotherm. So we are going to be using that to help us create our 24 degree isotherm as well, because at our within our tropics, it is actually, I believe, 22. So we're going to be able to use that to help us out in figuring that, figuring out that difference. I have a couple things up at the moment. Okay, so what was our... Yeah, because at 24 degrees, it is 21.5. So, yeah, 23 degrees is probably around 22. So, we are going to be... So, over our tropical sea and ocean hotspots, we're going to increase it by 3 degrees. We've got this one here, which is... So, here inside, just a degree south of that, you should be able to see my mouse. Just sort of a degree, a few pixels south of that, it's going to be 22. But anywhere it's in kind of between these lines, we are going, where we have this magenta color,
yeah,
we are going to be increasing our temperatures. And that is going to be sort of representing the buildup of hot tropical water. Something that we were talking about earlier was whether or not we want this area in here to be building up more hot or cool water, because we do have an overlap in a cold current and a tropical hot water spot. And I think, it would be nice in here to kind of have that kind of like warm water build up in this pool here. And I'm also thinking about what tends to happen in, stuff like the Bay of Bengal and, the Persian Gulf and stuff like that. You see these like warm bodies of water building up, as well as in Oceania, right? Where like Indonesia and the Philippines and stuff like that is, like you do see like this buildup of warm water. We may see it kind of be pushed down a little bit because of this stream of water coming down. So, if the continent kind of extended, we could kind of keep it going. But, we'll kind of keep it in this range.
Okay, bye, Willow. Thank you for coming.
Bye, Huelos. So we do have our 21 here. We are going to be making a new layer, and this is going to be for a 24 degree isotherm, and it is probably going to be somewhat of a circle, and we're probably going to have to shift the 21 and 18 degree isotherms to respond to it. This path, I will probably make a different color. Let's make it yellow. And what I do recommend after these is just sort of taking them into, to make a good copy of this, I'm probably going to take it into the iPad later and, work it out. And because I'm making new paths, I can always edit the paths after the fact or do a new stroke. So yes, now I'm going to use the path tool here. And what we want is this is going to be increased by 3 degrees. So because between these 2 points, between the 23 and 23, it is 22 degrees. The 3 degree increase would bring that in here to like 25.
Okay.
So we can we're going to have cool water coming down here. So we're going to have to finagle it a bit on that end. But over here, I mean, we're not going to have another continent kind of close by. So let's, I mean, we can kind of start it. I mean, it's probably going to link up with the hot, with this warm current coming up here is probably also going to be warm as well. So let's do, okay. There we go. All right, that is looking okay. And then we are going to follow the equator here a little bit, and we're going to notice here that this is going to overlap, which is why we're going to make new layers. This will be following our warm current here as well as it goes below our continent, because the warm water with this current is being carried. And I'm just using this magenta color for our tropical current as kind of a guide to follow it. And then we are wanting to just make sure that we're here. We don't know what's going on down here. So, you know, it's difficult to say necessarily, because if there was a continent here, for example, that was like pushing cold water down, then it would kind of stop moving. But we don't know. We could probably move it out to here, because now we have cold water coming down here and adding to it. So that could be something that we could think about. And then we're going to come in here. The cold water is coming down this way, so we can kind of come around there. Switch back to the pen tool, make sure it is doing what it's supposed to be doing. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that we do have our a continent in here.
Yeah.
And for the for the tropical hotspots, we can cover islands and things that are kind of surrounded by it.
Yes.
Because, you know, we have stuff like Borneo, which is entirely surrounded by the tropical water. Also, you know, being affected by that 24 degrees. And, you know, we have a similar thing going on here. There is elevation here. So the elevation will change. So we're going to have to cut out from the isotherm, because the higher you get in elevation, the higher you get in elevation, the cooler it is going to be.
The coolth expandeth.
The cooleth expandeth. All right, so now we have this path, which I have labeled 24 degree isotherm. You can't see my toolbox stuff over here for some reason. But I'm going to now stroke the path with a bit of a yellow color, just to distinguish it from the white isotherms that we are working from. Okay.
It kind of reminds me of the hat in The Little Prince.
Yes.
The hat that's actually a snake that's eaten an elephant.
Ah.
It does. It does.
A non-trinary society. You'd have to have a trinary to begin with.
Well, there are plenty of trinary
There are.
societies.
Yeah.
So now we have this
Ooh.
working in here. And I'm going to manipulate this one down here in a sec. But what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to duplicate my original work path, if it lets me. Fill with foreground path, add layer mask, create new path, delete path. Okay, that is not what we want. What we're going to do is we're probably going to make a new path. We can go to our 21 degree isotherm here in the south, and then I am going to... Can it load a path? No, it's not. All right, well, what I'm going to do here is grab my pen tool, see where this bend happens, and then we are going to just sort of follow the bend here.
I see. Okay, cool. I had originally was going to ask if you were going to thread that needle, but
no. So this is warmer water, right? This is a 24 degree, and then this is our 21 degree isotherm. So the water is going to be, there's another, there, probably be other movements of water that are flowing through here. And we're just going to, maintain a bit of distance between them here.
I see.
And then this is going to be the 18 isotherm S edit. And I will go to my layers here, and then we have this 21 degree isotherm. I'm going to go in with the eraser. Look, see, now I don't have to worry about erasing anything because they're all on separate layers. All right, and now I'm going to go back to my path here, and then I'm going to stroke the path. Yes, great. And I'm doing this just to see what the edits are that I am making. And that is not the 18 isotherm edit. This is the 21 isotherm edit. And now we're also going to stroke the 18 isotherm edit. And for that, I'm just going to make a new path. 18 isotherm south edit. And I'm going to switch to the pen tool again. And then, manipulate. That was the wrong tool. I didn't select the right tool. All right, so. There we go. We got a bit of flow here. And again, we're going to come in and erase. And then we're going to go to our path, and we are going to stroke it. Boom. There we go. So now we can see that's starting to bend around. This southern line in the water is going to be very uninteresting because we don't have any other information to manipulate it.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is that when we export this and when we're going to be working on, like a decent version, we are essentially going to just kind of work on, I don't know, this section in here. So we won't notice the lack of any variation in other parts of the map.
That makes a lot of
ideally. But you can have, quite a decent extent for your isotherms that are just sort of flat over the open ocean. So it's not going to be that big a deal.
Yeah.
And then we have these in here, and that looks fine for now. But we added in our tropical ocean hotspots, and we just have one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have to do it for the southern hemisphere as well. But, so it goes.
When you say southern, do you mean winter?
That's exactly what I
No.
mean. That's not what I said, but that's what I meant.
Okay.
All-
okay, yeah. Okay, yes. But yes.
So with our polar summer here, we have it is summer in the northern hemisphere, and that's the one that we currently care about. In the summer only, we're going to increase the final poleward isotherm by 12 degrees, or only by 6 if the pole has an intact circumpolar current, like the Arctic circumpolar current on Earth, and we're going to delete the next equatorward isotherm. If the final polar isotherm is equal to or warmer than the next isotherm, which would be the one closest to the polar circle, then we're going to delete the most poleward isotherm. This will leave a summer polar circle isotherm. So what we are doing here is finding, which is it? Nope, that one was pushed off the top. Right, so we've got 18 here.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the okay. So we're going to increase this one by okay, I need to go back to my other one. I understand what that one was telling me. In the summer, increase the final poleward isotherm by 12 degrees, or only by 6 if it has an intact circumpolar current. So we currently have an intact circumpolar current.
Indeed.
And what we mean by this is that, you know, the extent of this continent going up here, if I get rid of that for a sec, we can see it. There is a polar current that is flowing around this. And as of yet, it is not being disrupted. If there was another continent, let's add a layer above everything for a second here. Come on, add a layer above. Above. Thank you. All right. So if we had another continent, that's the eraser. I want the brush tool. All right. So if we had another continent that was over here, we can all see this continent. Excellent. Yes. This is a continent. It's red because of the clay. Sure. Oh. Whoop.
Yep.
Why is it doing this? NGL is continuous.
It's like
I don't know why.
Greenland.
I don't know why it's filling in everything that's not supposed to. All right. Anyway, here we go. Here's our continent. It is sitting here. What would happen if we had a continent sitting here? And it would probably stick out over there as well. Is we would have cool water being deflected up into, we'd have cool water being deflected, but we would also have, we would have warm water because cool water would be deflected down here. We would also have, I'm not picking very good colors for this. I don't know why. We would also have warm water deflected up here. Yeah. And that warm water would help warm up the polar circle during the summer in that hemisphere. If and then on this side, of course, you would also, have, and then, so warm water would be coming up here on this side. And then it would also be cycling out cold water on the other side, right? So you would have more of this circulation. The heat transfer would happen, which would bring warm water up, push colder water away, and that would mean that it would get warmer up there.
Would it be accurate to say that that would produce like more like gyres up there rather than the kind of the one sort of like polar circulation?
Yeah, you would have another gyre up there as well. Okay. I mean, you would. So right now, don't know why I got rid of that layer. Come on. All right, so right now, I mean, there would be, there is a there would be a gyre that's moving this way around it. It would be a circle. I mean, it's easier to, it would be easy. This would be easier to communicate on like, whatchamacallit?
G plates.
G plates. So you would have, you would have a gyre that's circulating up here. There, maybe another gyre going in reverse on the inside. So, you would have circulation up there.
It's a drill.
Because you have this one going. What? Yeah. What is going on here? This goes this way. Yes. So you'd have this pushing this way. You would have other gyres moving this way, and then you have some stuff up here going that way. When you introduce this other one, you would make it a bit more complicated as to where the gyres are sitting in particular. But the main thing is that the heat transfer happens. So here we have our negative 18 isotherm. This is no longer a negative 18 isotherm. This is now a negative 12 isotherm. We have a negative 12 isotherm right here. But because it is the same as this isotherm, we are now going to delete it. Or it is not going to be deleted. I have to go in here and actually hit delete layer. Yes. Great. So
Nice.
now at the 60-degree north, so now at your polar circle, which is here, we have a -6-degree isotherm. And then up here, we have our negative 12-degree isotherm.
Got it. Okay.
And, in the summer, we have the, because of the obliquity, you're going to have several months where the sun is going to be directly over it. So that is kind of what we are modeling here.
Now I got Midnight Sun by Zara Larsson in my head, so.
Excellent. And what is the... And we're going to be, maybe pushing it up a bit more on like a more contemporary Earth-like regime. I mean, this planet was like 13 or something was what we decided that the
something
average
like
temperature
this.
was.
Good that over 13.5, but yes.
Yeah, let me check. I can check. Yeah, about 13.5 or so. And we'll be moving things around, so we'll see it. But on something that is more closer to a contemporary Earth, where it's like, 14.5, 15 degrees, we start to see, especially in the northern hemisphere, just because it's so continental in the summer, we see that kind of like 0-degree isotherm pretty far north. We can, like in July, we tend to see the 0-degree isotherm pushed all the way up to like, I don't know, around like 80, 85 degrees. Like it's a very small area for the summer right now, though it does stretch south over Greenland, but that is due to the ice sheet. So, in July, like, I think that the northern parts of the continent have like that 6-degree, a 6-degree isotherm over it. However, what we are going to be doing is, because we have some continentality going on here, we are going to be picking up the 6-degree. Yeah, we are going to be picking up this isotherm, and we are going to be dragging it over top of the continent. And that is going to be helping us out. And we're also going to be smoothing this out a little bit more up here to help kind of represent what is going on. So you're still going to have, it's still going to be warm in the summer. It's just, we do have some cooler temperatures up there. Because at the moment, your polar circle is more reminiscent of Earth's southern hemisphere than
quite.
Earth's northern hemisphere.
Yeah, that makes tons of sense.
Yeah.
All right, so we did our polar circle. Yep. Okay, cool. So if you did not have an intact circumpolar current, then this line would instead be your -6 degree isotherm, and we would be killing that isotherm, which which would have been interesting. So now we're going to do all right, so now we are going to do the polar water cold spots. So in the summer, decrease the temperature of the polar water cold spots by 3 degrees in the mid latitudes. So we have polar water being shunted down along the coast here. So we are going to make these areas a bit cooler.
Hey, bring on the cold.
Shunt them down.
Shut them down.
Shut them down.
Not shunt.
And then, yes, and in the winter, this will make things very cool because we are going to decrease it further. But in the summer, it is quite manageable. So, and we're only going to be decreasing down here. And what this means is that it's going to be moving about halfway down in some of these areas. So let's go to our paths. I'm going to be making a new path here. This is the negative. I think that is -6 degrees. Isotherm, edit. Let's just make sure that's what I'm doing. Yeah, I'll do that one first. So I want to make sure that I have, what? Did the ruler tool replace my eyedropper tool? It did. Okay. So for the -6 degree isotherm, which is that isotherm, I am going to be dropping it to about here. Yeah, it's going to be moving about halfway between the two of them. Okay, so this one's going to go there. But that is going to be all right. So let's follow this here. Yeah, this is going to be edited slightly. All right, we are going to go back to the layer and we are going to erase some things. And then we are going to apply.
I'm so excited for all these cold branches.
Let's keep it here because we may have to change it later. It's not, you know, this is all rough work.
Yes.
Right? Like we're going to make something that looks nice in the end, but it takes, oh no, that was way too big. Let's do that instead. We're going to make something that looks nice in the end, but we do have to get there. What is going on? All right. I think I made the eraser smaller instead of the pencil. And that was too small. I do want everything to be roughly the same. Great. And then we can go back to our layer and we can kind of connect it up. And then we're going to do the same thing with our 0 degree isotherm here. You just shirk to work.
Ooh. I feel like I'm still like going back to the gym, and like my muscles are just like so tight and they're so painful.
So we're gonna go here, and then we're going to extend it down again to about halfway between them. And there is a little island in here, and that will probably receive the brunt of some of these changes. Yeah. That's going to be a very cold little island off the coast there.
Oh, she's going to be a chilly girl.
And see, if we're only doing one continent, it's not that much of a deal when we're making these changes. And up. What? Yep. And down.
Oh, I see.
Whenever I hear that, I just think of what was it even called? The very strange Mexican trans film.
Oh, that?
Oh, Amelia Perez.
That was. I've heard that was awful.
Oh, it is. I've not seen it. I don't want to see it unless like it is like
I don't
think
anyone
viewing purposes.
I don't think anyone wants to see it. Okay, we're going to stroke the path with the pencil. Wonderful. And then we are going to have this one moving as well, which is our 6 degree isotherm. But I mean, you know, this is just more or less what the process is. Okay, so now this one is also going to be pushed down about halfway. And I'll just link it back up here for now. This is fine. Because it's probably going to be pushed up later, and I over accentuated the 0 degree isotherm there. Oop. And then we are also going to be moving down the 12 degree isotherm. But the 12 degree isotherm is going to be interesting because there's also a warm water current here. So it's going to be, you know, it's going to be pushed in different directions. So we may do something like that.
It's malleable.
Because there's going to be water moving this way, and there's going to be water coming down and circulating in. All right, so we're going to erase a little bit, and then go to our path, and stroke the path. So that would be the cool polar water coming down along this coast here. And even in the summer, that is going to be, you know, that is going to be bringing the temperature down on the eastern coast of the continent. And keep in mind too, like, where are we? This is also like 60 degrees up here.
Oh yeah.
Like in the summer at around 60 degrees in, I don't know, like what, off the coast of like northern Newfoundland or
Yeah, something like this.
Kamchatka, right?
I mean,
Like,
or
it's
Scotland.
still going to be quite cool, like you're like, like right now it's like averages in the water off there like I don't know, what, between like 6 and 9 degrees. So if we're looking at around 60 over here, I mean that's zero, if this is like 6 degrees off the coast here, like that's fine.
I had
But
not realized that where I live is at about the same latitude as the tip of Kamchatka.
well, it's the southern tip of that peninsula is about 50. But
Yeah, around where I
yeah.
am in the
Yeah,
south
around where
of
you
the
are.
UK.
I love those like maps of like how it compares like the North American onto like the European like latitudes, because it generally is like bonkers.
The Gulf Stream does so much to change the climate.
Yes.
And in the southern hemisphere, in the summer at around 60 degrees, I mean, you have it between 3 and 6 degrees as well, which is like closer to what we have on ours, which makes sense because, what would happen if we had the interruption here is, you would have a much warmer situation going on here. But yeah, in the southern hemisphere, like, I don't know, it's like off the coast of Patagonia, it's like 6 degrees, which is more similar to what we have going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, to like Dr. Red's point, like that tip of Florida is like tropical, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well, Florida really benefits from the Caribbean, and getting all of, because like if we look at our map here, right, like
sure,
you have these winds, Florida is like kind of sticking out. Where's Florida? Here it is. Florida's sticking out here. So you have winds moving along the equator, like, bringing precipitation over there. And where's Qatar and stuff? So, and over here, because of the bend in the, call it? The ITCZ, the winds are just kind of like going along and up, which is creating that desert. So they get because like, there's no water over here. This is Africa. So there's no water kind of passing over, and there is evaporation from the Red Sea and whatnot. But I mean, and there is some precipitation there, but it doesn't do all that much. I mean, there's a similar benefit to living around the Mediterranean, the Caribbean of Afro-Eurasia, if you will. What was I doing? I was moving those.
Would that mean that we can claim the Greeks are cannibals?
Sure, yeah.
The Cyclopidon. We could make it this.
The cool current cold spots. In both summer and winter, decrease the temperature by 3 degrees over cool current cold spots in the ocean. Near latitudes where a warm current hotspot and cool current cold spot meet, do not adjust the isotherms. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to adjust them around over there, but, All right, so there is going to be... there's going to be some shifts around here. Where'd my currents go? There we go. We're going to be shifting this isotherm down by about 3 degrees because we have that cool water coming down. And where's that? Nope. Yeah, there we go. All right. So we're going to make a new path. 21 degrees. Isotherm north. And so this is going to be pushed down over here. So we're probably, I'm just going to judiciously do it in there. And then we can have it. There we go. Well, nope, that's not a good one. That's a good one. There we go. I like that. All right, so now we are going to erase this 2 degree. And then we can stroke over the path, which kind of disappeared. Where'd the path go?
Where did the path go?
Oh, okay. There's our work path. If I switch to my eraser. Okay, I don't understand why the work path disappeared. Oh, I see. I named it work path instead of what I wanted it to be, so I could not find it. All right, there we go. And we are going to be able to stroke the path. Boom.
Nice.
So now you can start to see the sort of movement and shifts of the isotherms, you know, moving the hot and cool water around our continent here. This may have been, this part of the isotherm may have been a bit too steep, so I'll probably alter that. You know, I'll probably pull down, or no, I mean, I'll probably push that up. Yeah. All right, so we only have one cool current on the, because again, you know, that affects it. We did the polar water one over here. We did this one in the mid latitudes. So that covers us doing our cool current cold spots. Now we're going to do our warm current hot spots. So we did this one here. We're going to adjust it in here to sort of accommodate this shift. And then the other one we have to do is in here and then up here. What this is going to do, most likely, is just fill this whole thing with probably like the 18-degree water, to be honest. Yeah, so the 18-degree water is going to be filled in here. How much is it going to be changed in the summer? Warm current hotspots in the ocean raise the isotherm closest. Oh, yep. From where the current meets the continent. Oh, yeah. All right, so this is where we start to get our continentality stuff. So this will be the fun one. All right, so in the summer, warm current hotspots in the ocean raise the isotherm closest to the westerly current, around 45 degrees latitude, poleward, from where the current meets the continent to the top of the hotspot. So ours is where it meets is around here. So this for here and for here is going to be pulled up all the way up here. And then we're going to adjust the other ones accordingly. And this is where it starts to set in. All right, so, and then over here, I think what could be interesting. So, that could be interesting, actually. Let's see what I would like to do here. That is the 12 degree isotherm gets pulled up. So we have a choice here because we're going to be So the 12 degree isotherm is this one that's appearing and disappearing. That one is easily going to be pulled up here because this is where it is over the ocean. It's going to get pulled up essentially along this coast and cover everything. It is going to kind of change the base temperature for the summer of the continent. And then everything is going to be kind of shifted around it. This one is also interesting because the 18 degrees would be what is hitting here, more or less. Going, where's the 18 degree one? Yeah, the 18 degree one is rising here. So we are going to see this rising up over there, which is going to make this area particularly warm. which is a-okay and fine, because that is kind of what we see in the, I guess, over North America, as well as parts of Afro-Eurasia. We see this 18-degree isotherm rising up. I mean, it'll probably only rise up to, what are we going to see it to? About 50 degrees or so? Where is it now? 50 degrees is around here. So, yeah, it's going to rise up to, I guess, where the 12-degree isotherm is here now. So that'll be fun. All right, so we are going to rise up that 12-degree isotherm, which I was playing with before. So there is a path. The path is over here. So this path is going to be changed. We're going to delete the path, and we're going to make a new one for the 12-degree isotherm, because I want to start it from over here. Okay, so we're going to take from here, and we are going to be kind of where the movement kind of starts here. We're going to pull it up to here, and then there's cool water up here. So we're not going to interfere with that. And then we're going to bring it along the top, and then we have to shift everything else accordingly. And I'm going to turn off this layer so I can see the land below it. Yeah, there is water in there.
Like the little mouth.
The guy, little puppet.
There we go. Boom.
Whoa.
Yep.
Wow.
So now everything's going to be much warmer here. Let's go. Oops. And then we are going to stroke the path. Okay. So that's the first change that needs to be made. The second change that needs to be made is that we need to go to the 6-degree isotherm. And then we are going to go to our 6-degree isotherm path. We're going to start here. And we are going to shift to the move tool, and we are going to be moving it around, essentially, this coast here. So we're going to bring
now it's thread and needle time.
No, I mean, we're going to move the 0-degree isotherm.
Oh,
okay. There. There's no way we're not moving that isotherm. We're going to be pushing it further north. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And then what we are going to be doing with this one is it is going to then be over here, and we're going to kind of follow. That wasn't a very good one. All right. Great. So that is going to be maybe over here. Can we kind of bulge it out a bit? Yeah, there we go. Right, so we see this water is being pushed this way. Kind of gives that illusion. And we're going to get rid of all... Oh, that's funny. All right. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to move that down there. See, that's why they have to be at different layers and why you have to check. Great. So now we are going to get rid of all that.
The rain of them. That's nice.
And we're going to get rid of all that. Is there anything up here I need to get rid of? No. Great. And yeah, then we stroke over our path here. Boop. And now we are going to go back to our 0 degree isotherm. We're going to find our isotherm here, which was a good idea at the time. And we're going to manipulate the points. See, and this is why I enjoy using paths if I have to work in Photoshop or something like that, because then we can...
I will say, watching you do these Bezier curves makes me feel comfortable trying it myself, because they always have seemed to me very intimidating to draw.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have like a tablet for drawing on my computer, so this is this island's going to be very cold. That is an executive decision I am making.
Okay.
This is Cold Island.
Brass Monkey Island.
There we go. You can have the monkeys who hang out in the
well, yes, the hot springs.
Hot spring monkeys.
Yes. We do have a species of snow macaque kind of on the other side of things. So that could be a fun little kind of like divergent evolutionary path.
There we go. So now we are going to be stroking these paths.
I'd completely forgotten about them until we did the primate stream with Dib, and I was like, wait, we have primates already.
Pause. I mean, like, definitely in one on the door, but then in more. Hot spring monkeys sound very adorable, and they are. Sometimes they have little persimmons on their heads, or maybe not. That's capybaras, but either way, they're very cute.
Would you like a teeny tiny jet lag spoiler from today?
Jet lag spoiler? What's a jet lag spoiler? Oh, that show.
The show.
Yeah.
Yes. I will hopefully see it by when it premieres, so if you want to, you can.
So one of the game that they're playing involves challenges, and one of the challenges that they could have done but didn't was to take a picture of a monkey in the wild in Japan, which could have been a hot spring monkey.
Very true.
So I know
Courage was saying, you always think of those places like, I guess, Qatar and the UAE is closer to the equator than you. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that you're closer to water, warm water with nice winds than they are. The aridity thing and the heat is more about the proximity to readily available moisture. Yeah, that's my contribution. All right, so now I'm going to...
Persian Gulf cold then?
It is not cold. The thing with the Persian Gulf is that the water, there's a lot of it's a high pressure area. So there isn't much surface wind that moves stuff. There's a lot of evaporation there. It's just, that there is precipitation that happens beside like the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf and stuff like that.
Yeah.
On the mountains nearby seasonally, but it's just not enough precipitation to not make it a desert.
Yeah.
And, when we're also thinking about precipitation and the amount of precipitation that you can get from a nearby source of water, we're thinking about how close the winds are to the surface, of course, but then we're also thinking about the fetch. So
we're making
fetch happen. So it's like, how far is the how far is the wind moving across the the distance of the body of water, right? Like moving across the Indian Ocean here, that's a pretty big distance. Moving a little bit is over, the Red Sea or the Gulf, not that significant. We could say a similar thing about certain parts of the Mediterranean and whatnot. But at the same time, the Mediterranean doesn't always have a high pressure zone on top of it, right? Like in the summer, there's a high pressure zone on there, and you don't get much precipitation, unless you're in, like, I don't know, what is it called? Pyrenees? No, Pyrenees are over here. What are the mountains that are going through the middle of Italy? The Boot Mountains.
The Alps?
No, the Alps are up
No.
here,
Oh, I know you're saying. Yeah. Sorry.
where the Samnites and stuff lived.
The Pulian range.
It's nice. Yeah, 42 degrees with 80% humidity is nice. Is that Fahrenheit or is that Celsius?
I hope that's Fahrenheit, or hope that's Celsius, rather.
Yeah, I don't know. The Apennines. Okay, cool. I assume that's where we get the word appetizer from. Okay.
Oh, there's the Pennines and the Apennines.
There we go.
Isn't it Apennine?
The Apennines.
There might be a Trans-Apennine Express.
That is a comment that I had to hide on my original video because I was referring to, like, what are the mountains called? I kind of forgot offhand what some of the mountains are. But I had, like, some 42 degrees Celsius. Woo!
Yeah. You had some folk not understanding what a prefix is what I'm gathering.
Yeah, because I have different, like the Thuringian range, or no, it's like the Kotars or something, and it's like, anything close to the Taiki Basin is anything like face inside of or near the Taiki Basin is cis in relation to the mountains.
Sure.
And anything on the other side is trans. And I had someone in the comments who was like, stop putting the gay agenda in the videos. And I was like, what? And I was like, well,
you should call them Entgingen and Zusammen instead.
I mean, at some point we all got to use E and Z notation because some molecule is just too big.
The other thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to the 12-degree isotherm here, and I'm going to change it to more.
Now I'm wondering what Entgingen and Zusammen could be in a conlang.
In terms of like as a means to distinguish like relation.
Yeah, I guess you could have a modifier that either went at the, like, if you had a word that could take either a suffix or a prefix, you could have some other stuff that would either have to go with a certain affix or opposite to it.
Boom. All right. So I have fixed that. Stop transing our mountains. Yeah, I was talking about, like, because there's the Palomars, which are the main mountains of Polomia. But there's, on Becerra, like the main body of Becerra, the supercontinent, you've got, like, the trans Palomine ice sheet, and then you've got the cis Palomine ice sheets. And it was something along the lines of, like, stop, putting the trans agenda into, like, geography. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is like a very stable, just the kind of, I don't know, the kind of discourse that caused the rage bait around the Odyssey movies, I guess.
This is why Transnistria is a home for all the queer people, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Please. Go. I'm sure there's a very specific kind of Leninist out there who would assure everyone that Transnistria is the trans homeland.
I am easily
When are we getting Cisnistria? When are we getting
Cisnistria?
The Cisnister?
Or Snorter.
Oh no. Oh. Yep. I don't know. Yeah. The thing is yeah. So we've got our isotherms. We've done our hot and our cold spots over land. No, over water. We have done all the stuff we need to over water. Now we have. Now we can move over land.
Okay.
And this will be a good time. And we're going to start, I believe, with our arid hotspots. And we may need to shift some things later because it looks like you're going to have an arid zone further north because you have this area up here.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to be a pretty significant BWK area in part of there. We'll have to see how large it is. But, we may want to increase the summer temperature there after the fact once we figure it out. And that's just because you can, get warmer temperatures in those kinds of basins than what you would expect. So, thinking about what is the Tarim Basin, right? Cold desert, cold desert. Further north, it does get pretty warm up there. So, we'll think about how, not that far north, was like 44, 45 degrees latitude. What are we up here? I wrote it down somewhere. Okay, so 30, 60, 45. Yeah, it's a little far north, but we may increase the temperature. And this is just because, if you have a desert, you have less moisture, and you have more, sand and rocks and other things on the ground. That's going to absorb, especially if you have a high pressure zone or just clear skies over it. You're going to be absorbing a lot of heat into the ground. If you're at a similar latitude and you have plants there, the plants are going to be reflecting a lot of light or absorbing a lot of the light. But also if you have trees and stuff, they are going to stop the heat from reaching the ground. So you're going to have more moisture in the soil. So your surface temperature is going to be lower.
Yeah.
If you lived in a neighborhood where there were a lot of trees and stuff and you walk around on the sidewalk and it's very pleasant, and then developers come in and cut down all the trees, and then you're just standing on a sidewalk surrounded by cement and baking, that is why. Because the trees help. They create sort of a microclimate.
You have 3 mini tangents.
3 mini tangents?
My first micro tangent.
Is it about the Cisalpine Mountains?
No, it's about the Tarim Basin. Reminds me, my favorite Uyghur restaurant in London is Topan Uyghur, but there's also one called Tarim, which is very good. And now I'm hungry. Second,
yeah, I feel you.
I used to get TikTok videos about walkable cities all the time. That's just what it reminds me of. Yeah. And thirdly, as there is a walkable cities agenda, I think it's time to start the sun worship agenda.
The sun worship agenda. Yes, we should have a sun worship agenda. Give me one moment to get the sun worship agenda up.
Ooh. Let me see if there's any Uyghur food here.
Definitely some places in Toronto.
I believe that.
Where is my... There we go. Excellent. Give me 1 sec, and I'll get the agenda up. I was having so much fun, I forgot what time it was.
I'm trying to think if there's a joke there with the term isotherm, but I can't I can't work out what it would be.
I hate when that happens. I hate when like there's like a beautiful little joke like could potentially be on a similar pattern for you. You just can't figure out how to get there. Oh,
Here on Lands Unknown Live, we like and subscribe for the veneration of the great green dragon, whose body is the ground beneath our feet, and whose golden tail is the sun, who graces us with life. And you know, today we here at least we have been blessed with the shroud of the dragon's wings. You know, to give us a bit of respite in this warm summer that we've been having out here.
We had a verb for it last week that I can't remember anymore.
Blanketed, pataginated.
Yes, pataginated.
Yes, the land has been pataginated by the beautiful wings of the green dragon. So we are going to take a bit of a break while I get some more coffee in my Lands Unknown cup, and maybe Jake get some tea. Miles, what or juice? I think Jake has juice sometimes.
I'll have a mate maybe if the water boils fast enough.
Excellent. Yes, Mr. Sun here.
I woke up earlier than I usually do because my body's decided that it wants to live on Eastern US time. And so I'm like halfway between having an instant chai or I think there's still a little bit of Iranian cherry juice, but yeah.
Ooh, cherry juice.
Kettle. Get that kettle on.
I'd noticed it was gone during the violence, but it's back now, and so I'm celebrating.
So we will be back in about 5 minutes, and everyone can choose to venerate the great green dragon as they wish. All right, and I am back, ready to start begin some more isotherms. Let me get that ready while Jake and Miles get situated. And just a reminder to, like and subscribe if you haven't already. You can also leave a comment on the video when that comes out. That really helps, generate engagement and those sorts of things. The next mainline video of the Spec Atlas is going to be out this Thursday. I'll be posting, I'll be making some posts to remind folks. I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely much more ambitious than the last one, but I think the next one's going to be a bit different after that one drops. Let me get the isotherm sort of sheet going here. And I mean, if you want to see it before it comes out, you can sign up on Patreon. There's sneak peeks and monthly updates that come out. You can find that in the description. You can also support Let's Have a Booba. All of the links, including to their Patreon and those sorts of things, are in the description as well. We got Miles up here. What are some of the cool perks you have on your Patreon? Do you have a Discord?
We do have a Discord.
Fantastic.
People, sometimes if we have polls, they get an extra vote.
A vote?
Yes. So we run some polls for our language, kind of for both free members and for paid members to have some sort of influence. We sometimes will have patron-only events. They've been kind of rare as of late, just because of our library being kind of chaotic right now. But sometimes we'll have like a patron-only stream or such.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm thinking about I see in the studio chat you mentioned worshiping the sun like half an hour ago. And I was
totally
not
fine.
paying attention to it at all. I'm not looking at the camera or
not.
like those screens. I'm looking at the lines. I'm drawing my sun lines. And yeah, and if you sign up for the Lands Unknown Patreon, becoming a member of the Speculative Geography Guild, you too will have votes for what's coming up in the videos. And the Flora of Arukia video, which will be the next one that comes out after the Northern Lowland Rainforest video, was voted on by patrons. So you can get in on that. What am I doing? Yes, we're doing arid hotspots. We're moving to the continental hotspots. So we already measured all of our hotspot stuff, so we know how far across everything is and whatnot. So arid hotspots less than 500 kilometers across the shortest axis over land increase temperature by 3 degrees. For every additional 500 kilometers across at the shortest axis, increase the temperature at the center of the arid hotspot by 3 degrees. This rule is applicable for large regions like Great Australian Desert, the Sahara, or the Arabian Peninsula. And Jake is back.
Yay.
Boom.
Hello.
There you go. You've switched spots. Okay. So we have our arid hotspot here. The shortest axis is going to be the north-south axis. So, and I mean, I was, kind of blobbing this out, thinking that this coast here would have some degree of precipitation. I know that it was like, I don't know, close to 2,000 kilometers across. But I only think it is about 1,200 kilometers north-south. And if you're ever not sure, you can just check. So I'm going to open up G-plates on the side. You're not going to see me measure it, but you've seen me measure things in G-plates before. You just navigate to the measurement tool and see how big it is. Come on. All right, so I'm just going to narrate what I'm doing in the G-plates. It is not letting me move the features. All right. Okay, cool. There we go. So north-south, What do we got? Okay, so 1,500 and 1,000. And what's over there? Yeah, 1,000. So we're going to say 1,200 is good for the center of our arid hotspots, because that's what we're kind of concerned about. Yeah, because we want the center of the hotspot. It does extend into the mountains, 1,500. So if we increase it by 6 degrees Celsius, where's our... Okay, so that's 21. Where's 24? Oh, okay, that's interesting. So this will probably get up to 27 in the interior. If we do 1,500, we can make it 300 in the middle here, which is fine. We could have like a little stretch of 300 in the middle. 30 degrees, sorry. 30 degrees Celsius in the middle here is fine. And then it would be spreading out from there. This 24 degree isotherm then would be covering a decent amount of this and then be pushed up. Is that what we want to do? So that's kind of that is something that we see around, yeah, because we see that the water in the summer in the southern hemisphere on Earth, we see that where the western sort of cell of the Indian Ocean gets up to, gets up to 24 degrees Celsius, and then that sort of temperature spreads and connects to the Arabian Peninsula and then North Africa, right? So like that would make sense. That would be fine. And then it would kind of be a little cooler on this other side here. Well, I mean, it would kind of probably just like the 24 would come up more or less right against the coast. I'd probably want to move the 21 a little bit off. But yeah, I think that would work pretty well. I don't know if it's... Let me check something real quick to see if I think 30 would be reasonable. 27 is totally reasonable.
Yeah.
Maybe... No, a little 30 is okay.
Just a little smidgen.
A little 30 is okay. Because, we see some pockets, from like a global scale of like 30 degree in the Arabian Peninsula. We see it in, parts of, where's that, Iran, as well as in India. So, I think a little 30 is fine. We'll do a little 30.
As a treat.
As a treat.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just kind of thinking out loud here, there could be some that could maybe be like a depression in like the sea level, like maybe like a Death Valley-ish sort of scenario. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and it would also just be boop. It would also, like, this is a like a monthly mean of a daily average, right? So
Correct.
During the day, it's a desert. Like, it can get really hot during the day. At night, it could be reasonably fine. So, it's like 30 degrees when you take everything into consideration for the day. So, it's not that sort of extreme here. So we're looking here. So in the middle of this, and then I kind of like oh no, this is kind of overlapping. So let's do it in here. I'm going to turn that off for a sec so I can kind of, it's shifting a little. That's okay. Okay. So, I mean, the people in here would probably want to rely more on the little rivers and things that they have.
Just stick to the rivers and those streams that you're used to.
Yeah.
I don't know how many waterfalls there would be. Well, no, I guess there's waterfalls in Egypt.
Yeah, sure. You got the cataracts and stuff too.
Yeah, exactly.
You got the cataracts. I mean, there are waterfalls in there. I mean, speaking, talking about surface water geography and stuff like that. We talk about like, their nick points, which are
Mm.
the points where, the water kind of changes. And, that's how we get rapids, and like a waterfall is a very large nick point. So yeah, you'd have all sorts of nick points as you're going down. So this is going to be our 30-degree isotherm. I mean, I don't know if we necessarily, we may get rid of the 21-degree isotherm, but stroke with the pencil. There we go. All right. So now we have our little blob in there. And we are going to then be spreading our isotherms out, which will be the fun part. Because that is how we get in this process, that's how we move the warmer isotherms further north.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So from the center of the arid hotspot, the temperature can change 1 degrees, 100, 200 kilometers equatorward or poleward. But the change is steeper east to west, 200. Yeah, that's fine. All right. This will essentially just sort of cover all this in the 24-degree isotherm. And then we're going to be pushing this 21 we'll probably push the 21 out a little bit. Is that what I want to do? Yeah, that is what I want to do. Yeah. And then this 24 can kind of move over here a bit more too. All right, so do I have G plates open still? I do not. I'm going to open up G plates again, and I'm going to measure how far the isotherm drop is going to be to see how, where we're going to move the 18 and 21-degree isotherms, and then how we're going to loop up the 24. No, not the spinning ball. There we go. Everything's loaded up. Brilliant. So from more or less where we are there. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so I'm going to be measuring, and I'm going to measure just kind of along a single line of longitude. So I'm just kind of measuring up 17 degrees longitude, and I want to see how far that is. Okay, so, and I'm going to be changing 1 degree about every 1.5 kilometer, 150 kilometers, sorry. So we're going to drop at about 10 degrees when we hit those mountains up there. So from, what are we at? 30? Yes. So 30 down to 12 is 18. So that would be about 8. Yes. Okay, so we are going to
Yes, thank you, Jake, for asking my question also.
We're going to push it all the way up there. Great. Okay, so now I have a plan. I'm going to go to my 18-degree isotherm here, which is more or less where it needs to be.
Nice.
Hideously German drink obtained. Wonderful.
Yes.
Where is my 18-degree isotherm edit? Do I have that somewhere? Or is that my northern isotherm or southern isotherm? That's my southern isotherm edit. I don't have a northern isotherm edit yet. All right, so I'm going to make a new path for my 18-degree C isotherm north edit. And so we have this here. It is going to be pushing that isotherm up into here.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
No. Look, that sounds... I mean, like, I will try it, but that does sound just, like, hideous.
Well, these are also mountains, so the temperature is not going to be that high after the fact.
Sorry.
We're talking about the orange juice mixed with cola.
Oh, yeah. What? That sounds like you didn't have vodka for a screwdriver. That's what that sounds like.
Valid.
This isn't as
No, that look whatever's happening on screen looks lovely.
okay.
Far
Thank
from
you.
hideous. No. We are grateful ever. This looks fantastic.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's gonna go up there. I think that looks kind of nice. We're going to erase our 18 degrees isotherm a little bit. I mean, I'm gonna have to like change some things in here as well. Like that's gonna be no. We're not done yet. We're not done yet, because this is unacceptable. Where's the option key? Okay, no. How do I? Where's my delete point key? Okay, we're gonna go here. We're going to be raising this up because this is going to be moved here as well. Now we'll finish that later. Figure that out later. I can always come back to it. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to our paths. We're gonna make sure we're on the right layer, and I know I'm on the right layer because I just erased the right thing. I'm gonna stroke my path. There we go. So that is up there now, which means the 21 is going to be following closely behind it. Do I have, where's my path for the 21? I think I probably deleted it. Okay, let's find the path.
There it is.
There it is. Nice. So I want it here, and it is going to be, I don't like that curve at all. No more. Oh no.
Oh no. That's kind of getting like that hooky vibe.
What? No. Convert point tool. There we go. That's what I want. There we go. Behave yourselves. Great. Now this will be going where it's supposed to go. And I mean, so, I mean, there probably would be more massaging of the currents, warm currents here that you'd probably need to do, but I kind of planned, I kind of incorporated that a little bit into this already. But I am going to have to shift it, because this 24 is going to come up and cover a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
So this is going to be up here. We could move this further north. I mean, there is a later step for talking about continentality and raising isotherms. So we're probably going to have to raise the 18 again. But the 18 is pretty close to where it needs to be. And there's nothing wrong with going back and editing whatever you're doing. Because, that's kind of all it is.
It's an iterative process.
Yes, it is an iterative process. And now we're going to do the 24 degrees.
Yes, bring her up.
And I have to say, this is wonderful. Having this up here, not having it on my desk, and I have to move and stuff. This is very nice.
I am so pissed because I said this before, but I have a ring light like legitimately in arm's reach, and because my computer does not have a USB, it only has USB-C, I can't connect it.
Oh no. So, I have a bus that kind of converts things from.
Oh, that is exactly what I need.
Yeah, so I've got thanks to the Patreon, I have a thing that allows a bunch of USB-C connections, and I also have a bunch of where are they? Got one of these. A USB to USB-C converter.
That is like legit what I need.
So I just convert everything into USB-C, and then I can plug it into the bus, and then I don't have to worry about it.
Among the things I love cables, but like there's something just very kind of like satisfying when you can just plug them into one little dude and just kind of have it all kind of like spur out. It's like it's the dopamine rush I get when I look at someone's like guitar pedal setup. It's that just kind of that beautiful like organization that I just adored.
And then the drop from that's 6 300, about 900. All right, so when's that? Where's that going to be around?
Excuse me.
Oh, okay, cool. Great. That was easy to figure out. So we're going to go to our 24 degree isotherm. What? There we go. And we are going to go to our 24 degree path. And we already have this here. So what we are going to be doing is manipulating these because it's going to be quite yeah, it's not that dramatic. It's just going up here because it's about, I don't know, 1,000 kilometers or so, 1,200 kilometers.
I'm so glad I got learning so much about German culture today that I had no idea existed.
Sheep shop.
I am much like Petrichor. I have reached a no cola point in my life. I've been at a no cola point in my life for quite some time.
I will drink like citrus flavored soda, but that's probably my realm. Like I don't tend to kind of gravitate towards the cola or like that sort of flavor.
I like I don't know, I like Fanta. That's my
I do like
and I like root beer, but I think that's also like a very like North American thing to enjoy. I
despise root beer. I mean, yes, but like, it just to me it just tastes like dirty flowers.
Oh, okay. Well, I like flowers.
I like flowers.
I don't think I
smelt
enjoyed
a rose
root beer when I tried it in the US.
I smelt a rose recently, and it smelled like the cinnamon from like cinnamon heart candies.
Oh yeah,
it was a very tasty smelling flower. I have to say,
pop is also just a generally very acidic liquid.
Yeah.
So like it just like ruins the inside. And kind of what point out what R and I is saying about kind of like I've seen people like put like things in Coke and have it be bleached like an hour or two after the fact.
Yeah. I mean, I choose coffee and I drink alcohol, so I don't need pop.
I don't know. I feel like some sort of Mormonish person because I don't really drink enough tea or coffee for people to call me a coffee or tea drinker. Like I'll maybe have one a day.
Your accent just makes me feel tea, but that says more about me than it does about you.
I mean, lots of British people prefer coffee to tea now. It's more of a stereotype than anything else.
I mean, but last time I was in the UK, the kind of coffee that Brits enjoyed was terrible. So,
in the coffee shops, or like the fact that a lot of us are happy with instant.
Yeah, instant Americanos. I'm just like, no, that's awful. That's my coffee snob opinions.
I mean, we have plenty of like the newer gen coffee shops and things.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there a few years. I was there a bunch of years ago. It would have been like 5 years ago, and the only place I could get a good drip coffee was from a very nice Polish guy at the airport.
I think of like new gen coffee. I tend to really do enjoy like a good like third wave like coffee, like kind of like that medium roast, slightly acidic vibe. And then my partner hates that shit. Does not enjoy if it does taste like anything off like sour wise coffee, does not enjoy it whatsoever.
I enjoy really fruity, like funky coffees.
Me too.
Like from naturally fermented, like all that sort of noise. That is my thing.
I want like
I had this coffee that tasted like soy sauce. I had it as an Americano, and it tasted just like I was
bless your heart.
And I was just like,
my goodness. Oh, no, that's not what we want to move. All right, so we have our 24-degree isotherm just creeping up here, which is lovely. And then kind of coming off along the coast here. So this whole area is going to have be 24 degrees, which is going to be lovely, except for the parts that are going to be mountains. That is going to change things a little bit.
Very much so.
I don't think we have that many more steps to do, to be honest. I'm going to keep that open just in case, but we should be able to finish the summer today, which should be nice. What are we doing? All right, so next thing. I'm not going to finish elevation probably, but that's something that we're going to have to do at a different time. Where's the... yes. So... now we're at the continental stuff. So...
Question before. Do we need the 27 isotherm?
No, I'm not going to do that.
Great,
no,
cool.
I mean, we may do a 20. We could do a 27 isotherm. I mean, we have a 21, a 24, and a 30. It'd be weird if we didn't have a 27.
Does it do very much?
Yeah, not particularly. I mean, the 21 was more so there because that is where the that was where the tropic was. So that is why it was important to have. It is something that we can delete after the fact. The other thing we could do is add in, we could delete it after the fact. We could also provide a bit more shape to our 24-degree isotherm to kind of, illustrate those differences. The 21 isn't the most useful isotherm. If you're working with 0, 12, 18, 24, 30, then, at some point between your 18 and your 24, you're going to have the 22 degree mark. And that is in summer. No, that is for hot summer meso and microthermal climates. So the C and the D climates that have an A in that third letter. Those are the hot summer ones. Hot summer climates are determined in some, versions of the COPA. I mean, some people use 21, some people use the 22. I think the 22 one is more standard. Is that if you have any summer month above 22 degrees Celsius as the average, then it becomes a C or D A climate. But I mean, you can just kind of you can just kind of eyeball it, right? That's the same thing with the 10-degree isotherm. The 10-degree isotherm is, important for figuring out the differentiation for E climates, as well as, when we were working with the B, the meso and microthermal B, C, and D climates, kind of figuring out where the 10-degree isotherm is. But we have the 12-degree isotherm, so again, you can just kind of eyeball it. I think the other one, the one that could be useful would be if you decided to do your isotherms in 6-degree steps from -2 to 4 to 10 to 16 to 22, because then you hit the -2, which you could use as a you could use the -2 for your E climates. There are people who do that, and you could also use the -2 for the difference between D and C climates, because that is something that certain people who use COPA do. Then you have the 10-degree, which is useful, and then you have the 22-degree, which could be useful. However, when you are presenting your map, having the 0 And then 0, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30 makes sense to people when you are presenting it to them. And, you know, I'm trying to like decrease the amount of work that's going on. But I don't
Amen, brother.
mind creating a 27 because that would be fine. I'm just going to make a couple measurements in the G plates. But, you know, so 30 comes out by 3. That would be 45 degrees. Yeah, so that would kind of be around there. Cool. Oop. There we go. And I think when I was working with Edgar, I think we did most of them were 6 degrees, and then above 21 we kind of shifted to 3 degrees just to kind of like get some of that granularity without having to make Edgar do an absurd number of isotherms.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know, ideally, and I've done this in the past when I was doing one of my own maps, I was doing 3 degree isotherms, but it's just doubles the number that you need to do.
Holy so.
So that could be like more work than it's worth.
And she's not too like crazy large here anyway. It's a little blob.
Yeah, it's a little blob. It's not that big a deal. And it may be useful too if we decide to make some places hotter further north. But all right, so this is that. Then we have the hot. Summer continentality is after we do our hotspots on land. So on the west coast, between 4 degrees latitude and the polar circle, continue the isotherm race by the warm current hotspot over the ocean. We already did that. So we already raised this and continued it over and did all those changes. Warm current hotspots on land increase the summer temperatures by 3 degrees on the east coast between the tropic and about 4 degrees latitude. Okay, so over here, that means we are going to be raising this up to about here on this side. And then we're going to be raising this as well to be about up there. So we're just going to do like small step increases. We are going to also be raising things a bit more because of the summer continentality. So we haven't even gotten to that yet. But, you know, we're going through the steps in order as we should. I'm going to go to the 18 degrees here. And I'm going to grab that and just kind of raise it up there. And then we're going to go to the 21 degree isotherm north, wherever that is. Here we go. And we are going to be, let's add a new point, I suppose. And we're going to raise that up here. And we are going to kind of smooth out those curves. Yeah, just kind of following the coast. And then raising up. Okay. And then we're going to go to our layers here. This is the 18 degree layer. I want to go to the 21. And we're just going to get rid of that. I mean, I'm going to fix these later. I mean, that's pretty straight as a line. But there's also elevation changes that are going to happen. And the elevation can kind of cover up some of those things too.
Yeah.
And then we are over the 21 because we have 21 up. We're going to stroke the path. And then over the 18, we are going to go to our 18 degree isotherm layer. You know what? We are going to have to edit that one later. Because the water here is going to, this needs to change a little bit. But we're going to be erasing that. And we are going to then stroke the path to cover over it. Great. Awesome. All right, so that is the warm currents on this side. Then we also have warm currents on this side. And it is going to be pushing these up a little bit as well. Yeah, and I can also make some adjustments. Here we go. Okay, so. We are going to do that over here, and then we are going to add, I'm gonna add a point there and then just kind of raise it over this way. Okay, and then we're going to erase some things again and then stroke the path. Whenever I'm, didn't like that. All right, so whenever I am raising by 3 degrees, the rule is kind of just like go between the two isotherms and then like raise it halfway. Because, you know, each of the isotherms that I was currently working with there were about 6 degrees. You know, the difference between the 18 and the 12 is 6 degrees, so I go about half. For the 21, I would move it more because it's not a 3 degree difference. You know, it's a 3 degree difference, not 6 degrees difference. But I'm just kind of keeping it in line, essentially, just so that we don't lose too much there. All right, so now we're going to be shifting this one up here. We're going to be adding another point. We're going to be moving it into here. Yeah. And then I'm also going to be adjusting it for the current here. I may want to add another point. Yeah, I'll add another point. And what I'm imagining here is that the warm water is coming up and it is spinning out. It is going into this gyre. And then meanwhile, the cold water is slipping between the continent and the island here, and it is continuing down. So this is why we have this kind of pattern over here. That was an executive decision I made a while ago, but I did not necessarily articulate what I was doing. There we go. So, and then we also want to move this one up. No. All right, so where is our 24 degree isotherm? This whole thing is, we're going to move this one up as well. So that's just going to move here. That is going to move here. Great. I'm going to erase some of these lines. And then we're going to stroke over it. Cool. I don't necessarily like what's going on with the 21 degree isotherm there, but we can change it later. This is just to get it down. We're just trying to get the shapes down. It's like when you're drawing, right? You get the big shapes down.
Before you kind of like fill in like the you know, when you like draw faces, or when they teach you to draw faces, where you have to kind of do like the cross and like the eyes, and I guess it's very that, by making sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what are we doing here? So cool current spots on land decrease their summer temperatures by 3 degrees Celsius, no change in winter. That's the other thing. Oh, no. Yes. So we're going to have to do this. I'm going to do the land and sea for this region kind of at the same time because it's going to be fun. So cool currents are going to be on this side.
Correct.
Decreasing temperatures. And I've already kind of pulled things in on this side. Yeah. Okay. So, and we did pull this in. And then what we do is we do the summer continentality. I'll see what it looks like after the summer continentality. So let's just move on to summer continentality. Utilize the most portable westward coast. So we already did that. We already rose it up because I knew it was going to happen. And I didn't realize So I rose that up and I changed all these. The warm current step asks you to bring this isotherm up here. And if you just did that, then it would have been, down here as well. But we're just going to raise it up because I don't need to go through the process of raising it by 3 degrees and all that stuff over here, right? So we're going to up to about 10 degrees beyond the polar circle. In our case, the polar circle is actually like around here. So that doesn't really impact us. But if you're working with a continent like Afro-Eurasia or whatever, especially the Eurasian part where it goes further north, then you would continue carrying it north. Within 300 kilometers of polar oceans, the land temperature will decrease by 1 degree every 10 to 30 kilometers until meeting the temperature of the polar body of water. So that's why we have this like very sudden shift here along the coast. So I've already kind of done that. The polar movement of the summer continental isotherm will shift the summer polar circle isotherm poleward, as well as maintaining 10 degree latitude distance. Oh, no, that's not what we want. The next equatorward isotherm will also rise, following the summer continentality isotherm. Observe the rise of the 18 degree isotherms over North America and Eurasia bent polewards in map 4. Okay. So what this will mean is that we will, kind of match that rise. And that's why I was not changing this for the for the warm current thing, because this is kind of a bespoke situation. And, for people who are doing this for the first time, I highly recommend reading the whole thing first. Whenever I talk to my students, I tell them, like, read the whole assignment before you start moving through it. Just so that you know, like, what is going on and what's going to happen. So I'm going to be kind of executing all of these steps at the same time. So the 18 degree isotherm, I probably only want to bring up to about 55 degrees. I think this has got most of the way for us. Here's 60, here's 40, so 55 would be like around there or so. Yeah. It's got most of the way for us. But we do have this continental area in here, right? So raising it into here would make a big difference, especially in these lowland areas. So I'm going to kind of bring it up into here, and I'm going to follow this arc that we have created for us from this. And this means I can also move this 21 degree isotherm will also come out. Yeah. Right? And it'll probably sit more between this 24, that's the 24, right? I'm not going to move the 24. 24 is fine where it is, more or less. Because the only time it would, kind of like, we'll see. But that's around, where is that around? Is that around 40? Yeah, it's already around 40. So the 24 degree isotherm is fine. We're going to be moving north. We're going to be moving the 18, and then we're going to move the 21. Yeah. The 24 is fine where it is. And that 55, so 60, 30, 45, 55. And then I shift it all around the place. So it's probably going to be up here. And we're going to keep in mind the impact of the currents, right? So we are going to kind of shift it. And what's keeping in mind too is that in here is kind of where our continental zone is. So that is going to that's where we're going to see like a pretty dramatic shift in the winter. So like getting the 18 up there is very helpful for that. Boop. And then A. So yes, so we want that to kind of stick out like this. And we can pull that out there. Yeah, so we can get this up here because that's the 60. So let's, oh, no. Yep. That is good advice. Yes. Always read the full assignment. Always read whatever instructions that you're doing beforehand and make sure that you answer any questions about them prior to starting to execute what you're working on. And if you start, if you have questions, you can ask questions in advance, and that'll save you a lot of time in the future. So now that we have this brought up to about the 55-degree mark here, we are, we can see how this kind of line carries across. Importantly, though, the 18 is going to probably rise up following this curve as well.
Okay.
So we are going to be...
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Following this. And this is happening because you have this relatively warm body of water circulating there, right? And this is something that I also did purposely with the Taiki Basin as well. I was like, I want the Taiki here. I'm going to introduce a lot of moisture into the inside of the supercontinent. Otherwise, it would have been very dry. It would have been, just a big desert in there. So this can be like a good way to introduce more, get the temperature up further north, but it also introduces more humidity. So now we're going to connect to this, and we're going to probably move here. So this about halfway, it would be, about there. So we can raise, and then we are going to fall on the other side here, because this is where the thing goes. Yeah, we're just gonna, what's gonna happen here is that these mountains are going to cause a piece to be kind of like carved out. So this curve is going to be essentially eaten away. Normally, I would be a little, especially on the western side of the continent, I'd be a little hesitant to have this come up so far north. But we do have the water here, and this water is going to be significantly warmer. So that's what's kind of pushing it northwards. All right, so now we are going to get rid, not that line. We're going to get rid of these lines.
Not bad, buddy.
And then we're going to stroke back over it. It's been a while since your Jack role building community, but yeah, you know of it. What do people know of?
Of pastas.
Oh yeah, the pasta bioclimate system. I think the pasta climate biosystem succeeds at what Nikolai wanted to accomplish, and I think it's quite cool. The one issue for me is that my workflow is like doing it manually, and so what Copen does is it uses proxies. So it uses things like the temperature and the amount of precipitation, and it essentially, uses those in conjunction as a substitute for like direct measurements, like how much evaporation is happening, how much, there's just a bunch of, how many precipitation days there are, and, looking at all of these different factors. You could probably do it with just a handful of, just a few variables and then kind of extrapolate, but it would just increase the time it would take to kind of go through that. If you're using EPS or I don't know, ClimateSim probably and other stuff, it just generates that data for you. So, that's a lot easier, I would say, than just, doing it all yourself. So we are going to bring this
I've
up.
recently heard of EPS through these streams, so I'm very interested in seeing I think one of the things that to point out what Oakwood said about why they may have stopped doing it in the original setting is because at least for me, there is not really a correlative prediction between drawing shape of continent and like all of this sort of like climate mapping. Like there is like a very large like bridge between those two.
I mean, once you understand the components,
Mm.
I think it's a lot more. Um,
You can kind of like piece through a little bit more about like what sort of features could lead for different sort of like
yes.
climates. Got it. Got it.
I think
got it.
on the first episode, when I was kind of doing an overview, right?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, this is what we see here. Therefore, this is the climate that we are likely to encounter, given the parameters that we have chosen, right?
I see.
But again, but that's also like, you know, that is something that comes with learning. Yeah, learning how these different things impact stuff.
I was telling my partner the other day, we were talking about like birth charts and astrology, and they asked me like, oh, like could you do like my birth chart for like a week? I'm like, probably, but it would take a lot of time to kind of like piece through everything, but kind of just like taking in all that like data and just like mapping it onto something rather like in this case really predictive. But yeah.
And stroke.
Nice.
Boom. Great. So, and then we have this. Okay, because we have this water coming up here, and it's moving this way, and then this is kind of picking up and pushing. Because what's happening is the circulation here is what's driving it. So let's do something else here. So let's take this and we are going to be, we're going to,
oh God.
1, 2, great. We're going to do this instead. Because what's driving this, like this water, like there's no reason why this water would move it this way. It's just circulating in here. So we can do that. We can limit the impact. Nope. There we go. Yeah, that's fine. We are going to stroke the path. I mean, this is more or less what we're going to be working with for the summer isotherms here. I don't know. I'll sit on this. But, you know, essentially when you have this basin of water and it's just sort of cycling through itself, it's getting this introduction of, yes, you know, like it's cycling in itself, especially when you're in the northern hemisphere. You know, the sun is going to be at about 23. So 46 is up in here. So this would be within where the sun is like beaming down during the height of summer. So there'd be a lot of insulation going into this area. And the hot water from here is going up here and moving back around, right? And this kind of creates a bit of a feedback loop where you're getting like warm water, relatively warm water circulating in here. You don't have that happening over here, which is why I kind of pulled it back, right? The water that's moving this way is the same water that's over here. It's not getting that feedback. And then this is being pushed out here, which is nice. And then this warm water is being moved down this way, which, you know, can also, which is nice. So we've got that. Which I think we're pretty well done, which is great. Because what would be the next step for the summer? What would be the next step for the summer? Summer continentality. Yeah, no. The next thing we would do would be the continentality check, but we haven't done winter yet. So winter is going to be next week.
Mhm.
We're going to be messing with our winter isotherms. We're going to do our continentality check, and then we are going to do our elevation. So yeah, probably so let me bring up a calendar to kind of plot this out. So the 9th, we'll do winter.
Mm-hmm.
The 6th,
Oh.
the 9th we'll be doing winter. Then the 16th will be elevation and continentality.
Mhm.
And then continentality, elevation, and then we'll probably do a precipitation redux. The 23rd, we will do our quick climate. The 23rd, we'll do our climates.
Yeah.
And then the 30th, we can just kind of clean up.
The refining.
We can clean up, and we can have something that we can put on whatchamacallit the next week for the world building thing.
Yep.
Oh, this is timed fantastically.
Yes. Yeah, so then what we'll be doing, I mean, yeah, so when we want to do the elevation after we do the continentality checks, just to make sure that everything's working out. But for the continentality checks, essentially, I can, kind of tell you now, we have a continental zone here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of the center of our continental zone. And it is between 51 and 60. Yeah. So that means that there would be between a 36 and 48 degrees Celsius swing. So 18. So we're going to be expecting something between equal 18 minus 38. So between -18 and -24 in that spot.
Dang.
Which will be fantastic. That will be quite cool. It's not going to get as cold as like Eurasia.
Yeah.
Because there's no like ultra or hypercontinental zone. Mega continental.
Yeah.
Ubercontinental. We can make it whatever we want. But yeah, it's not going to be as intense. Which
if we did call this
nice.
the Alpha Continent, we could then claim when we have we're doing a stream about toponymy and maps with Red Quill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should assign things like before this, but I think one person's doing a continent, and so we will have the beta continent technically.
Yes, McCain. Continentality.
Ooh.
So, and then like, but just to provide like a bit of, I don't know, for that region that we're kind of looking at, that has like this, 18 degrees rising over to it, that can get to, about -18 to -24 at a similar, latitude on the east coast of Eurasia. It's like -30 in the winter, right? And so like -18 to -24 is warmer than that, but in a similar place, around like Newfoundland and Labrador, for example, you're at -24. So, and North America, all around there is more, more reminiscent of what we're working with. Meanwhile, in like the southern tip of South America, I don't know, it's like 3 degrees in the winter. So but it's also very oceanic down there, so it's just gonna be kind of what the temperature of the ocean around it is. So for this one to be, like -24, between -18, -24, like that's pretty reasonable. So that's kind of what we're going to be expecting, right? So it's going to be like 18 in the 18 degrees in the summer, -24 degrees in the winter, and that is going to give us like like a DB or DC climate.
Perfect.
And we're going to be determining that kind of after the fact. While we have like the sort of continentality steps. I could actually figure that out right now. Would it be D climates? Great. So would it be DXB in the oceanic? Nope, it's in continental. So 18 degrees or higher, it would be DXB. Okay, so that would kind of be the line right here where the DB would be in the continental zone. It would sort of follow that 18 line. Anything above it would be DC.
Got it.
Right. So, and in this case, this far into the continent, if it is a D climate, then it would be DWB or DWC, which is that kind of like monsoonal microthermal climate. But then probably to the west, we would have that more desert. Yeah, it would be more deserty. And we'll see how deserty it is, and we may increase the temperature around those deserty areas. So, we could have a little spot that is like 24 or, 21 or 24 degrees up there. We'll increase it by 3 to 6 degrees depending on what it looks like, but that could be fun. However, it would also get brutally cold in the winter. It'd probably get as cold as everywhere else.
I'm excited for Frigid Island up there.
Yes, but I would want to restrain it based on the continentality. So I'd want to figure that out first before we go back, and I'd likely.
I'm scared for Frigid Island.
Yeah, and I would likely want to finish doing the climate. Like we can do the climate mapping, and then when the climate mapping's done, I can be like, okay, do we want to make a little pocket and see how that goes? But yes, and we also have our Frigid Island over here. Which was also going to likely be continental. That'll probably get quite cold because we're going to be carrying in the winter some of those cool temperatures across this gap.
Oh, yeah.
But it may just be more like subcontinental than continental. We'll really see. But that's the 60-degree line. Yeah. So, so today we did our summer isotherms. Next time we will do the winter isotherms and see how cold we can go.
How cold can you go?
How cool can we ghoul?
How cool can we ghoul? Thank you everyone for coming to another episode of Lands Unknown Live, where we're mapping the Boubaverse. As always, it would really help if you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leaving comments on the video is also helpful as well. Cool Zone Islands.
Cool Zone Islands.
As a reminder, you can check out the Conlang Relay that's on Let's Have a Booba, and to look out for the new episode of the Speculative Atlas on Lands Unknown this Thursday. Is there anything else that you want to shout out to, Jake and Miles?
The relay again, unless
I said the relay.
Sorry.
Oh no, George's relay. Yes.
There's so many relays.
So many relays, and then George is going to have a relay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the playlist should be on the Conlangery channel as well for that, all that sort of deal.
The
Yeah,
playlist.
Yes,
playlist.
George does indeed have a relay, Matisse. There's 3 rings, and they're going to be sequentially released starting, I think you said tomorrow, Jay, correct?
Yeah, George doesn't have the timekeeping abilities that I have to get through 20 languages in 2 hours.
My goodness.
I kept things tight. Jonathan had to beg me to be less efficient with that.
I love how we're all like the bus driver and thinking the stream holders. I love it. I'm loving this.
And of course, Zavestlin and Luna. Oh, that's not Luna. There we go, Luna. And I hope this really.
I had a horrible social. Not horrible is the wrong word. I got judged by an Irish bus driver for not saying hello when I wanted to buy a ticket.
Where I am, we all say hello and thank you to the bus driver as well.
Maybe
it may be an island thing. Yeah, and I hope this helps folks who are, using like the manual method of doing the isotherms and stuff like that. I mean, it took like from scratch, like making the actual lines and stuff, about 3 hours to do the summer. And this is just one continent and one hemisphere. I mean, if you're doing, you can imagine if you have a couple more continents kind of going on, then, it may take, maybe 6 hours to do the summer for one hemisphere. And then, but if you spend a couple days, you should be able to get this process done. And I usually just do all of the summer. So summer in the northern hemisphere, then I do southern in the southern hemisphere, and then I will flip and then do winter in the northern hemisphere and then winter in the southern hemisphere. But it's I hope this helps out, and after next week you will be in a great position of doing all the isotherms.
All the isotherms.
Yeah, and I think what Mateus is mentioning, just going straight to Copen, like we kind of did that in the first stream where I was like, this is kind of like what things would look like. You could just do that and then go from there, right? Like you don't have to go through this process. This, what I find helps to do is through the process, you're creating, little surprises and little things that you may not expect. You are doing the world building and the world is kind of building you in a way, right? Like it is this.
It's so beautiful.
So yeah, I look forward to seeing everyone next week. Brilliant, excellent timing. And with that, I'll see you next week. Make sure to keep venerating the Great Green Dragon. And yeah, goodbye.
Yeah. Bye, folks.
Bye.